My next video is back-to-back videos. This one's not going to be talking about sex and dating, self-improvement. This one's going to be focusing on Monday Night Football. Smash Mouth football. Woo! It's going to be the Houston Texans versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is going to officially kick off Monday Night Football. I'll watch professional football more than I'll watch professional wrestling. Now, the Houston Texans are going to be actually kicking off the NFL season, which we all know is going to be this week coming. Now, when we get to Monday Night Football of next week, that's where these matchups are going to play. Now, everybody loves football in September, and it dominates the television airways. Now, the Houston Texans, as of lately, they've been up and down in offense. You know, one minute they're good on offense, the next minute they're terrible on offense. But their defense is strong, it's powerful, it's stacked. They do have quarterback issues. They got like 2 or 3 quarterbacks. Hopefully they can just stick with one quarterback, run the football, and don't be so predictable this season. The reason why the Houston Texans made 4 shots at running at the table, and 3 out of 4 years they made the playoffs, but would always lose the first playoff game is because their offense be up and down, but their defense is forever present. And I believe that this season they'll win some football games. They probably might make the playoffs. If they can win their first playoff game, great, fantastic. This team has a lot of room for improvement, and if they can win this first game and beat the Saints, they can make an impression in the NFL. Maybe get their name in the conversation, because they haven't been in the conversation for the last 7, 8 years. Their name has not been in the conversation. And if they can beat the New Orleans Saints, the team that just needed to win one game against them Los Angeles Rams, that almost won and made it back to the Super Bowl in overtime, but lost by controversial, they would have made an impression. So if the Rams can, score, I'm going to give you a score at the end of this video. But if they can beat the Saints, they will make an impression that'll last for the rest of the season. And then they got to win at least 8 or 9 out of 12 games to prove that they're real and legit. If they just win this one game and lose the rest of the games for the rest of the season, won't nobody take the Houston Texans serious. So this is a football team that has not had their name mentioned for the last 7 or 8 years, and if they want to be in the conversation, this is the way to do it. Beat the New Orleans Saints in the first game official of the season and make an everlasting impression. Now, if you're the New Orleans Saints, this is a chance to prove that they're still a high offensive, defensive football team. Now, this football team, the Saints, they almost went back to the Super Bowl, but it was due to controversial. Everybody knows it was the Rams that won that football game, and the Saints got cheated and screwed out of that football game. Drew Brees, without a question, is the greatest quarterback behind Tom Brady. I would say Tom Brady at number 1, Drew Brees at number 2, and I would probably say maybe number 3 or number 4, I would say Aaron Rodgers. Drew Brees actually won that football game. Drew Brees took that football team on his back, played 4 quarters, went into overtime, and was about to knock out these Rams and go to the Super Bowl and face Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And if anyone had the potential and the ability to beat Tom Brady in their late 30s, early 40s, and do it in great fashion, it was Drew Brees. So if they can beat the Houston Texans and put up a high score of 20 to 25 and make an impression, they will prove that he can still play at a high level in the NFL and that he still can go to the Super Bowl. I believe the Saints still have something to prove. Now, he did say this could be his last season, and I still think before the season's over, he still has something to prove. So if they can win this football game, which I think the Saints will win this football game without question. They'll dominate. They'll make an impression. Now, do I think they'll win their football games? I say if they can win 10 or 11 out of 12 football games and make it to the playoffs and did the same thing they did this past season, the Saints could possibly, potentially, once again, be on the verge of going to a Super Bowl. They got to win at least 10 or 11 out of 12 football games, and then they'll find themselves back in the conversation. So these are two teams that are not really in the conversation as of right now because it's a new season, and whoever wins this first game will get their name into the conversation. Now, the final score, I'm probably going to say 20 to 25. If for some reason it turns into a high-scoring game, maybe 25 to 30. And if it's a low-scoring game, probably maybe 12 to 20 if it's a low-scoring game. All right? Till then, peace.